Chat, if you like vampires, you might actually love this. You like the vampires, action scenes, and emotion, right? You might actually like this one. Let's take a look at this one, chat. This anime is called Delico's Nursery, chat. And let me tell you, when I say this kept making me tear up. And I'm not a baby, chat. I'm not. But there was just too much sadness going on. We'll get to that. We'll see it. So this guy right here, this is probably one of the weird ones about this anime, is that he's the head vampire, but his abbreviation is Trump, right? That's not his name. That's just like a code for what he is. I can't remember exactly what the full sentence of what he is, but every time you hear, and they say the name Trump a lot, and every time you hear that, I'm like, the president of the United States? Like, no, it's just a coincidence. I just never heard anyone else be called Trump, right? So you while you're watching this, you're probably going to hear that a lot. And it's a bit about a bunch of important vampires who are hunting or like investigating murders, right? But they're all fathers, and their goal is to do the investigation, but also figure out how to be a good father to their children. And this is what tears me up a lot, because their connection to their child is very painful in each and every way. Like, they got like, it's painful because they're trying to fix their relationship with their kid, right? And you can see them trying very hard. That's what you really seeing with this anime, and I find that very touching, really. Yeah. This one right here, it's got to be the most adorable one. Something about it, chat. This one right here. He is the Delico's son. He's a very, I'm trying to think of a character that is kind of like Delico in terms of he's a very important one, right? He's a very important character. He's a very important individual in this universe. Like, he's the head honcho, not the president, but he's like, he would pretty much be like the main character from Black Butler. He's pretty much like him. He's like his attack dog, pretty much, right, chat? I can't remember the main character's name from Black Butler. I love that anime, but still. So in this is another boy from that's his father right there, and his father is he's cold-blooded. He just does not care. Like, he cares, but more in the sense that I want my child to be a professional. Like, he's a grow up kind of thing, even though he's like 2 or something. They're very cold-blooded. He's probably the only one who's probably a father who, I think he might be the best father here, even though he's not even the main character. Only because his kids are like 2 twins, and they are probably the only ones that know how to really have fun. All the other ones is kind of they got a little bit of problems. Yeah, his daughters don't really have too many problems throughout this whole story, and I wonder why. Let's take a look. So yeah, there's his father. So right here, he said, I have to go to the bathroom. He was pretty much like, so what does it got to do with me? And I'm like, ain't no way. Ain't no way you talk to your kid that way. Like, this guy is a piece of garbage. He is. He definitely is. There ain't no way. I can't. So, and this is, it's so sad. This scene right here, I watched through the whole thing, but I'm not going to show you everything because I really want you guys to really go and watch it. I'm just giving you a little bit. This scene right here, that is the son of, I don't think he's in any of these shots. We'll get to him eventually. But that's the son of Delico, right? And this is his baby brother right here. Little baby brother. Pretty much, he has some Rugrats. It's got a Rugrats theme to it. And also, I want to point out what makes this story so great is that they put a lot of time into writing this. And before it became an anime, it was a play. It is a play. I think there's multiple plays, if I'm being honest. And that's what I think, and I've said this last video, I think a lot of anime is missing time, right? When you make a play, right? It takes time to write it. You want to put time into writing it. A lot of anime nowadays, or what have you, I don't feel like I feel like they're being rushed. This series has a lot of episodes. Yeah, I think it's weird because I think it's 2 seasons, but 12 episodes, or even more than that. I think I'm not sure. I lost count, but when I watch it, I don't feel like they're being rushed in terms of writing or trying to tell a story. They just let you bathe in it, right? And I think that's what makes it so magical. Um, a lot of crying though. A lot of crying in this anime. There's so much crying in this anime. It's like it. Like I said before, Chad. I'm not a baby, but I do hate to see someone crying, specifically kids. I don't like seeing kids cry. It makes me want to cry. Like it made me tear up throughout the whole way. And not cry in terms of like they fell down and like scraped their legs. Yes, they will cry and do that because they're toddlers, but they when they cry, they're going through these. Hey, my father isn't like this one, for example. This boy is having a little bit of a problem because his father isn't giving him enough attention. He's giving his baby brother more attention. His father's, trying to do right because, he lost his wife, because his wife pretty much became a zombie, pretty much. I'm not saying zombie, but in terms of someone bit her and she was being controlled. There are humans in this anime, but they're very rare. You don't really see them, and they don't really have too much to do with the plot. They're kind of more they're here, but they're in another country, kind of thing. The humans and the vampires do not live on the same continent or country. And also, can you look at this art style right here? I don't know if this was drawn or someone took a picture of a hallway and then added a filter. Either way, it comes off as very. It's like I'm watching art, chat. It is like I'm watching art, an artistic movie, really, an artistic series. I love it. It's a beautiful art style. This kid's problem is that he's growing up too fast. But he can't really see that. He said, I need to grow up. I'm not a kid. I want to be, this is his father right here. Right here. That's his father. And he's an aristocrat. Probably the only aristocrat in an anime that I cared about. Well, actually, probably the second one. I'll talk about that anime another day. But he's an aristocrat character, and he's like pretty much a cold-blooded. I thought he was cold-blooded, but he's cold-blooded in a silent kind of way, like the cold shoulder type. He's just like, I'll talk to my kid any way I want. And this one's like, I'll talk to everybody else's kid any way I want. It's like, my kid is perfect. Your kid is garbage. I'm like, God dang! What's wrong with you people? You guys are insane. They're all insane. Jeez, not as crazy as the guys from Fire Force. Those guys are on a whole nother level. If there was a... if you open up a dictionary and look for crazy, you would see everybody in Fire Force right there in small letters. Jeez, man, those guys are on a whole nother level. So, but as you can see, they're trying to be better fathers. Because Delico, the main character, or like, the name of the anime, he says, hey, I will only help with this investigation if we all, but I will only help if we balance our responsibilities as parents. And everyone else like, what? That's stupid. He most definitely said this is stupid. But he's like, I'll take you up on that challenge. So this kid was in the hallway. Delico's son was in the hallway, and he was like, kind of telling him like, "Hey, I need to go to the bathroom." And he's like, and the other kid was like, "So, just go." He's like, "I don't know where it is. I don't want to go alone." Well, he knows where it is. He just doesn't want to go alone. So he ends up just peeing himself like right there in the hallway. So he ends up like bathing his own kid and his friend's kid. Well, they got the I'm not your friend kind of relationship kind of going on, even though they're very close. Which I think is a very magical kind of relationship, chat. I think I've had that once. Yeah. He was the dude. He was the dude who died. I told you about, chat. Who taught me about a triple decker peanut butter and jelly. So now every time I eat one, I think of him, and it makes me sad. Well, not too sad. I'm a pretty upbeat kind of individual, but still, now it's always going to be that way. And so you can see he does he does his best. The interesting thing, and I don't have a photo of this. There's a scene where his son came to him in his office when they were there at home and said, I was hoping to sleep with you. And he was like, no, go, you have your bed, you have your own bed. You're not going to sleep in my bed. And in fact, I'm not even in bed. I'm at my desk. So go back to your room, kind of thing. Granted, this is a 2-year-old, right? He's around there. So I don't know why he's whatever. King Remedy says triple decker peanut butter sounds suffocating. With jelly, of course. Not all peanut butter. All right. Come on. I'm not crazy. But, so he tells him to go back to his room. So, but before he does, the boy says, you know, bath time was pretty fun. Like a thank you. So, and then then the boy leaves, and it makes him rethink, you know, how he's talking to his kid. He's like, huh, my kid never really said that to me before. So it's that's one of the reasons why when they like these kids are crying, it hits home for me. Not because I have a bad life, chat. I don't, not even the slightest. I just hate seeing other people have bad lives. It makes me sad. It does. I hate seeing kids have bad lives. It makes me sad. So when a lot of these scenes where they just like end up bawling their eyes out, it's like, oh man, that's so sad. I was teared up like almost every episode throughout the series. And like as you can see, the fathers like are seeing like them like so the fathers came in the bathroom and saw like that's Delico's father right there. He's holding his baby, and his wife's last wish when she died is because his friend killed his wife. He killed his wife right here, chat. And he had a good reason. You're gonna figure that out once you watch it, chat. But he had a good reason. They're not friends, but they're very close. And he doesn't like, you know, regret. He doesn't hate the dude at all. Like, even though he really loved his wife. So there King Remedy says he actually plans to adopt a kid so soon so he can level up his Marvel Rivals rank in Pokemon. That's crazy. That's wild. That's wild. This kid also, well, one of his problems, chat, is that he is in this thing, in this phase called cocoon phase. Something about when vampires are at a certain age and they start hallucinating and they get a certain type of power that they only get when they're in their cocoon phase, which is very interesting to me. It's apparently the cocoon phase is something that allows them to have access to their gods, the head vampire's power, right? And the head vampire being this guy, who's supposedly he lives forever and he's depressed, right? He's a depressed individual that everyone, no one knows he's their god. Only a very certain few who knows that he's their god, and there's like this there's this government whose job is to not only run their vampire society, but also make sure this guy doesn't get bothered. And because if he is bothered, he has the power to control every vampire, right? There was a scene where everyone started tearing up because this guy started remembering some stuff that happened in his past that, like, you know, that he's repressed. Is that kind of thing, chat. And it's a very powerful anime. I think it's more powerful than Black Butler. That might not be saying much, but I really do enjoy Black Butler. This is probably on par with no, might be even more. It's probably on par with Made in Abyss. Yeah, or even better than that in terms of like emotion. It's just a beautiful work of art, chat. And I think it's because it was adapted from a play or multiple plays. King Remedy says, but can it beat Goku? Didn't think so. You know, I always thought it's very odd that people compare Goku with to Superman. They said because in the death battles on YouTube, you see Superman beat Goku, and I'm like, Goku gets his power. I mean, Superman gets his power from the sun. Goku can destroy the sun. I'm not saying what I'm saying, chat, is that if someone has the power to destroy what brings you power, you're not that powerful. I'm just saying. I'm just super saying. It just doesn't make too much sense to me. Like, but whatever. Whatever, chat. Let's see. Where were we? So he has like his ability to in his cocoon phase he creates stuffed animals and he starts hallucinating. They're pretty much, those stuffed animals bring voice to his emotions, right? It's pretty much like one of the bookkeeper's characters. She was just like a girl in a wheelchair who worships baseball. She's a depressed girl. You can't see her eyes. I don't have any illustrations of her to share with you. But she goes through. She managed to end up out of the wheelchair. She managed to walk again. But what ends up happening is that her emotions take form. Right? She can visualize her own emotions, from fear to joy, and they in some ways encourage her to keep moving forward, and other emotions just beat the dog crap out of her. And so it's not a power kind of thing. It's just more of a mental kind of state. But here, like the stuffed animals like talk to him and said, "Oh, you like they just talk to him and tell him things he doesn't really want to hear, but are true. Like, oh, you're trying to be an adult, but you're not. You're a kid. You should go play with the kids. Like, you want to, kind of thing. Like, so he's off in his own head. So that's what makes his power very unique. I'm assuming that power, if he manages to tap into it later or make use of it, he could probably use it to be a very good investigator kind of thing. Allow him to see things from different angles, right? Every vampire goes through their cocoon phase, but they grow out of it and they don't have access to it unless they take medicine kind of thing. And when people are in their cocoon phase, apparently they are closer mentally with their vampire god, who is where these powers are coming from, pretty much. This is the daughters of that one dude I was telling you about, and they're both riding on the back of that one cold-blooded dude, right? Where is he? Right here, because they're trying to become a bit better fathers. Yeah, granted, the twins, they pretty much grew up in a very healthy household, though. Their father is pretty OG nice. It's not all about the kids, though. It's not all about the Rugrats. Not at all. The story really it's a healthy mix of development and vampires fighting each other, right? Yeah, it's a very good healthy mix of it all, and I think that's what a lot of anime seems to lack, right? Chat, look at that face. Look at that face. It's so adorable. I tell you, chat, it's a great anime. You can't be adorable and sad. I don't like it. No, not at all. So this is where he was like, don't you want to go play? Like, why are you just reading all day? Like, so these like stuffed animals are just pretty much haunting him, really. Or they're being a little bit of voice of reason. Then here's one of the scenes where the older brother decides to take his brother. So they think that the other kids think that, oh, he's going to kill his baby brother. Like, no, he wants to. And this is something you really see with kids who have baby brothers. There's jealousy, really. There's jealousy. I've seen. I remember it was like a reel where there's like these toddlers are looking at their baby brother, and then out of nowhere they hit the baby. And I'm like, what? Why is this a trend? Why is this a trend with like toddlers like hitting their baby brother or baby sibling? It's a very a weird situation. Then you have one of the bad guys show up. She's in her cocoon phase, and her cocoon phase allows her to be a mix of being very strong and being very loving, right? I think the her cocoon phase does that, and she's older, So she's supposed to be out of her cocoon phase, but she takes drugs to allow her to stay in her cocoon phase eternally. There's not too much of a side effect aside from maybe going a little bit of crazy if you overdo it. But so she's probably one of my favorite villains in the show. Yeah, she's adorable, and she's probably the only one that's like really nice to the kids, even though she's the bad guy, right? I mean, a lot of them are pretty nice to the kids. They don't really, they're willing to go as far as like, you know, destroy anyone really, but for the most part, if they don't have to do that, they're just all around pretty nice. Which is I find very like, you can say, hey, they have humanity. They are willing to do everything that it takes to do what they to get their job done. But for the most part, they're not insane, which I find very unique in a bad guy character. These characters like, I don't really want to do this, but it's I have to. Other bad guy characters like, I don't care. I would destroy an entire city. Or Raditz. I'm talking about Raditz from Dragon Ball. And other characters like that. They're insane. He's also like that too. Man of few words who like follows her around. But you know, I'm giving you a little bit of this chat just to really get you wanting to go watch it. Then you got your stereotypical anime flamboyant character who isn't you know that one anime where the people dropped it because you have the character was a cross-dresser and everything and all that. A lot of people dropped that. This character isn't like that for some reason. When I watch the other, when I see the other character, or like, you know, at least when I watch the other character, I'm like, oh, whoa, like I feel uncomfortable. But when I see this character, I'm like, oh, great. Even when this character like I had on a dress at one point, I didn't not at all. There is something about it, chat. I don't know what it is, but there are some people who can do cross-dressing characters very well, and then there are some characters that are done in a way that I'm like, what is it? Why do I cringe at this? I don't know what it is, chat. It's I honestly don't know what it is. Some kind of chemical imbalance in the brain for me, I bet. There are action. I mean, there is action in this anime, so I like this action more than other anime actions, because it's not it. I'm tired, or at least I realize that I don't care too much about flashing fight scenes. Chat, anime fireworks. There it is. I don't care too much about anime fireworks, or at least when it's overdone. There are a few anime out there who are just there's just fireworks. Chat. I mean, fireworks is cool and all, but it's like, what is this? What is this? Just flashing lights because they're moving so fast you can't see them? Were you trying to be like Dragon Ball? Come on now. You know, there was actually one character who did it so well, who did the movement so well that there was no blurry lines when he moved. He just, in the blink of an eye, he was just gone. Not even a scene change. It was just like what you see right here. And then the next frame, she's not there anymore. She doesn't do this, right? She doesn't do this. She's just a regular vampire, whatever the heck that means. She's just a regular vampire, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean. Then you have this character right here. Actually, this one is a mix of human and vampire. Like their species they don't last very long. They're kind of don't last for very long. So it's a very interesting situation we have here. And I think so one of the characters, I won't say who, and I don't have a screenshot of her anyway, so asked this guy, their god, to be able to live forever, right? And he didn't give it to her. And I what I think is his problem, because we never find out what his problem is, because I think a new season is going to come out eventually, probably after the next play is done, whatever that play may be or is called. But his problem is that because he's lived for a very, very long time, and he's not even a bad guy, by the way, chat. He's not even a bad guy. He's just depressed. He doesn't do anything. He does nothing. Like he's depressed probably because he's lived for a very long time, or he probably lost someone, and he just can't he can't die. He just goes on living. And I've actually said this, like if God is real, he's probably, I feel like that might be his thing, being bored, right? What kind of individual, I wouldn't want to be God, being able to know all the jokes, right? Being able to know all the mysteries of everything. I'm like, that's not fun at all. That doesn't sound fun in the slightest. Like it doesn't. It doesn't. So that's probably what we got with this, like a god who is depressed. Yeah, yeah. Let's see what else we got here. Man, the art style in the background, they did it so well. I know it kind of looks like they just took a picture and just gave it a filter, but for the most part, seems fine. It seems fine. Let's see what else we got. What else we got? Oh, that's pretty much it. I thought I had some some scenes of the crying kids, but no, I don't. I don't. But yeah, I watched this whole thing. I just kept tearing up. I had to wipe my eyes many times. So too many times. I had that a little bit with Made in Abyss. Just a little bit. Maybe once in The Promised Neverland. Yeah. You know the crazy thing? I didn't get that with the Rugrats when I watched that, like the Rugrats movie. I didn't get that. It was sad, but I didn't get that. I don't know what it is. Maybe anime just hits different. On with the rest of the show, chat.